Hey guys, welcome to Las Vegas. He's Chris Halicke. I'm Dejan Kovacevic, and we're fairly close to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
AKA the Big Roomba.
That's what you call it. That's not what anybody calls it. You're the only one that's ever called it that.
The Steelers had a really, really funny picture of a cat on top of the stadium like it was a Roomba after the game. So I know I'm not the only one who sees it.
Did they really?
They really did.
Steelers 32. I was about to call them the Golden Knights. I swear to God. It's so wrong that the Raiders are here. Steelers 32, Raiders 13. The Steelers are 4-2. No one's going to be satisfied by this. We were just talking about this before we turned this on. You're all going to be so unhappy with this whole overall performance. You're going to want change at every other position, and you're not going to get any help here. You're just not.
32 points.
32 points is 32 points.
I understand the concerns that remain about the offense. I get it. Justin Fields seems to have regressed a bit. First three games, he was really efficient. Passer ratings in the 90s.
It was accurate.
And
now he wasn't.
But he's still making plays with his legs. He scored 2 more touchdowns on the ground today.
Wait, does that count?
It does.
Oh, okay.
It does.
I have a stat sheet here somewhere. I think we threw it on the ground.
I got it.
It's these numbers also count. Okay, this is actually going to be my first time looking at this. I don't know if you've had a chance either.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I haven't. So I'm taking this stance even before I have backing. The Steelers ran for 183 yards, my friends. Okay,
and that's having a short field a lot because of what the defense did too.
And that's losing your center. Zach Frazier had a boot on his. Yeah, I know. Somebody had to say it. Had a boot on his left ankle here. We'll see. We don't know how bad that's going to be. Jalen Warren really obviously couldn't have been at full strength.
No, it looked like he definitely was missing some burst. But shoot, man, what a game for Najee to have some angry runs, to pull off some big runs, and then obviously the big touchdown run where he gets to the edge of the outside and doesn't necessarily run away from the defense because he doesn't have that breakaway speed, but still gets in the end zone.
Now, I've been one of his more ardent critics. I'm a mess here too. I've been one of his more ardent critics this season, I would imagine. I thought he was fantastic. Okay, you're not going to hear anything out of me. And I'm not one of those people who sticks to a stance just because, well, I said it last week and therefore it must still be true. He was outstanding. He ran. Hard isn't even a word for that one run.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
And then for him to hit the left edge and to have all of his teammates do their jobs. You and I, we talked to different people around the room about that play. Dan Moore told me, he said the beautiful part was that they went out to the left, Dan's side, and there were 3 guys we needed to get. There was one of our guys for each one of theirs.
Yeah.
And then he said, and after that, he was home free, and I had to politely correct him. I said, no, he wasn't, because there was one more block to be thrown, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there was. But, I mean, I'm still...
I'm talking about Pat Freiermuth.
Oh, no,
yeah. We're assuming you would know who that is, but in case you did, Freiermuth threw a big block downfield and was hearing it from his teammates in the locker room.
Najee, after the game, made sure when talking about because he gets over 100 yards and he averaged it was a big number in terms of yards per carry, but he made sure to stick to, like, if you want to have these big runs, it's not just Najee. It's not just the offensive line. It's the receivers getting involved. It's the tight ends getting involved. It's all 11 guys doing their job. And, having those extra blocks downfield. And he named Pat as one of those guys as an example of
Pat did it. Pat was hearing it from his teammates in there. Darnell Washington was hearing it from his teammates in the locker room. He also had a good game. Dan, who took Zach Frazier's place.
Ryan McCollum,
sorry.
Yeah.
Was hearing it from his teammates about a solid job that he did in very unexpected duty out there. Another guy we're going to tip our cap to in this regard is, just to show you that we don't just relentlessly go at people, George Pickens had a nice game. 8 catches, 53 yards.
3 catches.
Oh, I'm sorry, 3 catches, 53 yards. Okay, it's not a great game. The big one, the 31-yarder that ended up getting the points, that was significant, not to mention a difficult catch. Stood in there and faced all of us evil reporters afterwards, said some nice things, and that was the end. But if you look at the distribution, everybody was catching something. Calvin Austin had a couple. Look, This offense isn't going to make you happy.
No.
And it's not going to make you happy next week against the Jets. It's not going to make you happy the week after that against the Giants. It's not going to make you happy in week 18 against the Bengals because it's not designed to make you happy. I don't think this team is designed to make you happy. They're designed to, do what they've done, which is to struggle through some W's.
I think ultimately what they want to do, this is closer to what they want to do. In terms of what Mike Tomlin wants to put together, offense, defense, and special teams, because I don't think we can go more than 6 minutes into the video without talking about Jeremiah Moon's blocked punt. Because
we're coming. It's coming.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that offense, defense, and special teams. Defense provided splash and gave the offense some short fields, and the offense scored points off of those. The offense was efficient on the ground. It didn't always look pretty, but
now there were still a lot of those 1st and 10, 1.5s.
Yep. But there were some good things in there. For example, one play that I remember was they did a complete spread formation. So it looks like 5 wide. It wasn't actually 5 wide.
Early in the second half. I remember this, yes.
They spread the formation out, and then it's designed quarterback draw because it spreads the defense out, and then the middle of the defense was completely wide open. Justin gets a big gain, moves the chains.
And also on that same series, in that same area, he throws over the middle to Calvin Austin, and you saw, I keep saying this. You can't just want to just go out there against every opponent and show everybody how Steelers you are.
Yeah.
Okay? And at some point or other, you just got to say, what do we have to do to get out of this stadium with a win? And it feels like it takes them too long to figure that out.
It does.
In each game.
It does. And it was a kind of a repeat. The first series got me frustrated because it was the same thing. First couple plays.
Their first series, or Pittsburgh's?
No, the Steelers' first series,
okay.
because they go out because they got the ball first. They go out a couple of really good chunk plays, like Najee's first run up the middle, gets a first down.
And the first one was a catch. Then he gets a nice gain. Then he runs up the middle.
And then just some kind of.
They started going sideways.
Yeah, boneheaded play calling, and then they settle for a field goal, and we're like, man, this is Dallas all over again. And then but again, Jeremiah Moon coming through with the block.
There's something to be said, first off, for Moon coming in and playing as solidly as he did at outside linebacker. And I don't want that to get lost in this.
No, he had some good plays.
Already, and I was going through some of the film for what I'm preparing on the defensive takeaways, and I noticed 49s flying in there, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
Even before you get to does he know this or does he have the technique, you want that person who flies to the football on this defense. Moon did that, and he did it consistently. Now, then there's the block.
Yeah, that was just. We talked with him after the game.
Huge play.
That was a game-changing play.
Yes,
that was game-shifting play. It felt like the Steelers were still kind of struggling. The defense, it was. The defense settled down after that opening series with the Raiders scored a touchdown. They settled down, but once that blocked punt happened, even though the offense didn't capitalize on that, they had to settle for a field goal. It still felt like a game-shifting play.
It's still 10 points if you think about it. I mean, presumably, you don't want to assume the Raiders were going to go down and get a touchdown from that distance, but you're swinging points.
Oh, absolutely.
And that happened a lot in this game. And for Moon and the special teams to come through, that's one of those things, Chris. We saw it last year with Miles Killebrew going to the Pro Bowl on all the blocks that he had. You got to understand, this is one of those rising tides that raises all ships. When you leave that room, when those guys, when they're headed out now to the airport, which is like right across the street here, when those guys head for that long flight home, it's 4.5 hours. It's not one or two guys who's feeling good about themselves. It's 53. Okay, it's everybody in there, and it's all of the coaches and everybody who worked to make it happen. Is it perfect? No. You're waiting. What you're waiting for here, I don't mean to keep admonishing you, okay? But what you're waiting for here is comfort. To borrow Mike Tomlinism.
Right.
You want your team to make things easy on you, and they're not going to do that. They're not going to go out there and have, Tom Brady, Steve Young, Joe Montana efficiency. They're just not. This is not going to be the Chiefs. This is not going to be the Patrick Mahomes offense. Similarly, the defense, how did Patrick Queen put it to me? Is we were talking a lot about the first. That's why I asked you about the first drive, the Las Vegas first drive. And he said, listen, they came out with a great script. We agreed on that.
Yeah.
Okay, Luke Getsy came out with just like a pinpoint design. But you know what Patrick Queen said back to me? He goes, yeah, but you know what? We were ready for all of those plays. What we weren't ready for was all of them at once. And I said, so what? They threw kind of like their greatest hits album at you? And he said, exactly. They took like their 8 or 10 best plays and threw them all onto one drive. And after that, we were just able to adjust.
Yeah.
So you look at that, when you're seeing it in the moment, you're going, oh my God, this is terrible. Nick LeBeau, something needs to come back, whatever. And what actually ends up happening is that they just show you who they really are after that. They don't take a whole half to adjust defensively. And what they play for, and this is something that Landon said, this is a high risk, high reward defense. But he underscored the word risk.
Yeah.
Because they take some chances, don't they?
They do, and they definitely paid off today. And Dante Jackson almost got rewarded for another one later in the game because he had the one interception in the game, and he nearly had a pick six later in the game because he read it perfectly, made the jump. It was just the throw was a little wide, and so he wasn't able to get it. But
I had to tease Dante. I'm sorry, I have to share this one. He's like, you catch the ball, and I said, I saw you motioning with your arm to like where your blocker should go. He goes, dude, I'm just a ball carrier at that point. But then, you see what I mean, though? Everybody got picked up. Everybody saw something.
Yeah.
The only people I guarantee you who are down on that flight right now are Zach Frazier and anybody else who might have gotten hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. It was just, like I said, complete team effort. This is what Mike Tomlin wants. He wants to see the offense be able to take advantage of what the defense can do to shorten fields for them. And then, obviously, if special teams can help make a splash play, whether it's a blocked punt,
or
whether
it's
a punt
solid
return,
field position, or just not fun, or not making a mistake. And we've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, no special teams penalties?
I don't think so
for
in
the
this
first
game.
time?
I don't think so.
That feels like first time in forever.
Yeah.
Penalties in general were down.
There was a few holding calls on the offense,
Dude,
but they adjusted.
Did they?
They adjusted. It was a lot of those calls seemed to be early in the game. And this is what I was talking about. It was that Denver game. That Denver game was just like holding call after holding call, or just different things. You have to adjust to how the officiating crew is calling the game, and they did that because second half. I have to go back and look, but second half I don't think they had any holding calls or anything like that.
Pittsburgh didn't, but oh my God, did the Raiders have some awful penalties, including one that probably wasn't a good call.
No,
the man downfield.
Listen. Let's just say this about the Raiders too. They're a bad football team.
They're bad and they're damaged.
They're damaged. They're bad.
I think they're bad with everybody, and I think they were bad when they beat the Ravens over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was in Baltimore.
That was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So it was over. Way is Baltimore?
I don't know.
It's like
I think it's over that way.
Didn't have their number one quarterback. Didn't have their number one running back. Didn't have their top two wide receivers.
Their starting right tackle was out. Their best defensive tackle, their second best defensive player, Christian Wilkins, was on IR. Like, they're damaged. They're not a good football team. They're not a well-coached team. I'm just nothing against Antonio Pierce, but that play right before TJ got his hit that punch out by the goal line, I actually think if he challenges that, he has a legitimate chance. He has a legitimate chance that Madison actually.
Why didn't they challenge Najee at the goal line either? I thought that was.
Well, that's a replay assist, so like that doesn't get challenged.
Okay, yeah.
But the Madison one, like, you have an opportunity to actually challenge that play there because it wasn't a scoring play, so it doesn't automatically get reviewed. Throw the challenge flag. You threw a challenge flag earlier or later when George Pickens might have or might have not made a catch, and there was no conclusive evidence for that. But your guy has a legitimate chance to get into the end zone. Throw the challenge flag. It's worth it at that point because if you win, you get 6 points on the board, possibly 7 with the extra point. So. And then, I think it was the very next play, TJ punches the ball out, the Steelers get the ball back. That's not good coaching. They're not a well-coached team. They're a bad football team. And honestly, that's why I said before the game, they don't just need to win this game. They need to win by at least 2 scores.
No, they got it done. They got it done. I have one final point to make here, and it's regarding the best player in the world. Because the best player in the world showed himself again today, and yet continued to not draw holding penalties. Now, I say this on purpose because this dude just walks by in a Max Crosby jersey. Now, Max Crosby is a great player. I am taking nothing away from him. I loved the way the Las Vegas defensive staff utilized him today. They kept stunting him. They were moving. How many times did he come up the middle?
He was coming from all over. I mean, there were times where they lined up.
Now, he does this a lot in general. TJ doesn't. Also, and related, I don't care. There's no reason for TJ to not get that same respect.
I agree.
TJ is a better player. I gotta watch myself around here. TJ, those are Steelers fans.
What for the 3 Vegas fans that are actually?
TJ is a better player than Crosby is. Okay, and TJ deserves. And I don't want to hear about something. What is the hook or whatever? He comes in with. You can't call penalties holding penalty when a guy comes in with a certain technique. Holding is holding.
Yeah.
Okay? And if it isn't holding, then it needs to be holding. The Steelers held Crosby to death. They got away with. How about the one, Isaac Seumalo? We were looking at him. He actually draped himself around the back of Crosby's waist and didn't get a flag for it. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. That's a giant In-N-Out burger truck. What the heck was that?
You never know what you're going to see in Las Vegas. You just never know what you're going to see.
I definitely did not expect a giant In-N-Out burger truck. On that note, we're going to go chasing it down the street, everybody. Hey, important thing here. We will not have a double shot on Monday because we're going to be spending the whole day miserable on Spirit Airlines, which coincidentally is not a sponsor of this program. So we'll see everybody on Tuesday, all right?